They're actually struggling a bit for firepower to support Hasselbank, but Eidur Guðjónsson has been getting his range right in the Premiership as well as in the cup competitions as well. And Hasselbank in particular, a regular thorn in Arsenal's side.
Sunshine, not surprised Martin, sorry, early on, is that I assume Arsenal won the toss, Patrick Vieira, but this sun is really low, a nice winter sun, and it's right into Stuart Taylor's eyes. He really is going to have a problem with it. And I thought they might have just turned him round. I was watching it, I thought, well, will they turn him round and defend that area? And it was a strange one for me, but they obviously like kicking that way second half.
Graham Barber is the referee. And Stuart Taylor plays for Arsenal for a 10th game in a row. Had one or two nervous moments at Anfield, maybe no surprise in that. But in front of him, the resistance was of a very high order. Keown underhit that, and so too did Taylor. Stanic, and then Hasselbank and Lampard. Kanu. John Terry sticking to him tightly and got his reward. Won the ball fairly. Every recent game we brought you seems to have a touch of the hoodoos about it. Liverpool can't seem to win at Chelsea and slumped to another hefty defeat a few days ago. Arsenal had that Anfield bogey, but they broke it. Today it's Chelsea trying to end a lean run. Will 13 be a lucky number after 12 Premiership games against Arsenal without a win? And almost 12 years since they won at Highbury in the league in the old First Division. Pires, who scored in this fixture last season, which finished 1-1. Petit has played on this ground since leaving Arsenal. David Seaman's testimonial, very different sort of occasion when he came back with Barcelona. Fabiara. Past two, but the third man covering was Laurent. Cole. Now Keown. Carlo making the extravagant turn, but he showed too much of it to Lampard. Terry on the short side. Ljungberg. Kanu. Has he left John Terry here? Still the Nigerian. It's Kanu. It's Pires who thought about trying to deal with a dropping ball, then settle for the corner.
Well, that's what the lads were talking about the studio. Frank McClintock mentioned that he does brilliantly to open up defences, Martin. But at the moment, he's having so much trouble finding a finish anywhere.
Pires with a deep corner.
He should be in there. That's poor play from Freddie Ljungberg and Ray Parlour. For a ball to drop down into the box here, Martin. For Graham Lasso to be able to pick it up and turn.
I was just thinking about that corner, Andy, that Bolton got a very early goal at the Bridge at the weekend from a corner that was really put in to attacking bodies around Carlo Cudicini, who had problems dealing with it, and it wasn't too easy for him then, but on this occasion Chelsea have survived, and here's an obstruction by Babayaro. Thierry Henry.
There's an argument with that one. But they've got good height. Oh, so that's the one thing you know about it. When Vieira goes up with Keown and Sol Campbell and Henry and Kanu, they're all capable of getting on the end of a cross.
Which Pires is about to deliver. Keown, Vieira, wasn't into the worst area, but Arsenal, maybe for the second time in quick succession, are rather back on their heels when a ball drops in the Chelsea penalty area. Vieira, Pires, a little stumble by Melchiot, he's repositioned. Henry winding himself up, rustling the outside of the netting.
It is like that, doesn't he? Even when Pires had the ball there, Martin, there was not a thought in Thierry Henry's mind but to just pull left, go alongside him. He didn't try to drive into the box. But it's an area he's familiar with. He does like to turn in field and strike it goal from there.
A little bit of frost in the London area overnight, but no trouble to the electronically heated Highbury surface. It's certainly chilly for the spectators. Lampard. Cole certainly taking his time. Chelsea had blocked off a lot of the avenues, certainly forward for Arsenal at the throw. Babayaro. And they're really for Petit to glance it down to. Keogh. Henry trying to stay onside, but it goes to Kanu. Parler setting up on a run. Wide is Ljungberg. Henry coming in from the opposite flank. It's too high for Henry. Kanu. Just nicked from him by Lampard. Good work by Hasselbank. Stanic. Chelsea's progress this season rather based on being hard to beat. Certainly very impressive defensive statistics, but as we've been saying, the last couple of games suggested that the firepower is there. Pires.
Another bit of good defending. That's what you've done. I mean, it's been based on that. You would have thought without Marcel Desailly marking at the heart of that defence, they might suffer, but Gallus and Terry have just gotten on with it and got better and better every game they play. They're going to make mistakes, of course they are. They're a young partnership, but they've looked pretty solid the majority of the time that I've seen them play. And you're right, up top of the pitch, they have got talent and they have got ability in the front too. As good as any pairing in the country, I think.
Lampard. Oscar Johnson, the pairing with Hasselbank that I was referring to, they were close together then, but they couldn't find a way through the two centre-backs who were solid. The Johnson tries again to flick it over the head of Campbell, who reacts well. Parler, who's had this problem of a bruised thigh, a dead leg in the players' vernacular. And yesterday seemed very unlikely to play Ray Parler, but of course still buoyant from his performance at Anfield, man of the match, and there were some other candidates as well, but I have to say Parler was very much the leading candidate. Melchiot. Stanic just ahead of him. Melchiot deals with Pires' challenge. Now Stanic. Well, Mario Melchiot will keep it in and cross early. It wasn't a bad idea, but the accuracy was lacking.
Yeah, a little wasteful. Did ever so well to work it into that position between them, Melchiot and Stanic.
Arsenal have had a mixed bag here in the Premiership. They've lost to Leeds, Charlton and Newcastle. Strangely, their worst start at home for almost 20 years, this after finishing last season with the best home record in the Premiership. Henry putted it into Gallus. Kanu.
We felt that, Gallus, I'll tell you.
Keogh. Ashley Cole. Yes, real sense of adventure from him. And you do feel that, understandably, it's just easing themselves into the demands of this game, an unusual time to get underway. But for both, so much to look forward to in the new year. Arsenal with the Champions League. Chelsea into a high-profile semi-final of the Worthington Cup, 2 legs against Tottenham to come in January, a month in which Arsenal have the return here against Liverpool. Pires. And all that outside, of course, their involvement in the Premiership and the push for not just top spot, but of course Champions League qualification. Will be an extra place for an English club next season. Fourth will get you a chance in the Champions League. Sol Campbell never had much luck against Chelsea with Tottenham, and of course we've gone a long time without a win over the Blues from southwest London. Whether his fortunes will improve in the red and white. Did make his debut in the Tottenham ranks against Chelsea as a forward and scored. Pabayara. This is Graham Rousseau, of course. Hasselbank. Hasselbank and Keown had a highly publicised joust at Stamford Bridge back in September, in which Marvin Keown got a bang on the head and Hasselbank was sent off for inflicting it, although it was reviewed and there was no suspension served. Although the red card does count on his record, it would mean an extra game suspension if he gets another red card this season.
Well, I'm sure he'll be in a tussle or two with Hasselbank this afternoon, Mark. That's a certainty.
Pabayara gets the better of Ljungberg, gets the better of Parlour. Gudjohnsen, it's a bit central for Chelsea. Hasselbank just pulling off to the right. Gudjonsen's gone back into the middle. Petit waiting on the edge of the area. Hasselbank tries to fire it across.
The defendant, Sol Campbell, had to go and help Cole. That might be the first yellow card of the day
for Mario Stanic.
Certainly not keeping with the game. I think you're right, it's been a rather quiet start to this game, really. It hasn't really took off yet. Just a bit reckless, Stanic.
I think one thing, Andy, you mentioned Sam Dallabona not playing. He's on 4 yellow cards, and a booking today for him, and he would miss the first leg of the Tottenham Worthington Cup semi-final. He is available from the bench.
Well, he did a lot wrong for me, the young lad. He's had a fantastic spell.
Oh, that's Thierry Henry again. His sort of angle. Remember the game against Manchester United last season.
That's fantastic. He didn't quite get that one, rather cut across it, but he's almost tested the goalkeeper.
This time he just let the ball run, didn't he, rather than cushion it and flick it up. Yeah. From Lampard and from Stanic, kept in by Melchiot, beautifully cushioned by Stanic, but Ashley Cole got in quickly. Ljungberg, Gudjohnsen turned away from Keown. It would have been foul, but a good advantage played by Graham Barber. Hasselbank as well was being buffeted from behind, but again Chelsea kept position. Again the referee said, on you go. Petit. Hasselbank. Gudjohnsen. Stanic on the right. Still Stanic. Gudjohnsen, there's no flag, and there's cover from Lauren.
Oh, a chance. I don't know whether he took his time with this. It's a beautiful reverse pass from Stanic. I think the flag's right to stay down, but I think he just kind of fed it in blind for me. Gudjohnsen didn't really pick anyone out, fed it into an area.
Maybe didn't quite appreciate how excellent the build-up play was, how much time he had. Campbell beats him in the air. Comes out to Gallas, the stretch from Kanu. And Gudjohnsen, knowing that if he played it, he would have been given offside. No need for Andy Martin to flag there, as the ball's running through to Stuart Taylor, but the Arsenal supporters are concerned about the earlier incident, when again the assistant, in fact, absolutely right.
It's got to be a free kick for me. Yeah, I think one of the things that you do learn as you play that possession, John Terry, is that sometimes you can get too close. Sometimes you just have to accept you can't get it, stand your ground. But what he has done is given Arsenal an opportunity, certainly for a strike at goal if they fancy it.
They're not summoning the left footer Ashley Cole.
He's just going left of the ball, though, Mark. He's certainly available for if they want to roll it there.
Thierry Henry seemingly with eyes just for any gap that the wall and Cudicini might leave. Almost a dramatic pause as Henry then undramatically hits it into the wall. It does come out to Cole.
Oh, he'd be disappointed with that. Well, I think it was there if he'd looked up Henry to roll it there anyway, Mark, but somehow it found its way there eventually. A really poor free kick from Thierry Henry. But this is a good chance. It sits up nicely for Ashley Cole. Well, that was noticeable against Liverpool. Well, Liverpool against Arsenal. The shooting at Liverpool wasn't great that day. Remember, the long-range shooting didn't really test Stuart Taylor often enough.
Gudjohnsen. Cole closed down well by Hasselbank, but it ricocheted kindly for Arsenal to Pires. He found Henry. Gudjohnsen trying to invite Lampard to stride forward. Well, that's how the sun might affect Stuart Taylor in this first half. A little squint into the glare. Spoil the kicking length. It was a tremendous goal kick. Halfway into Chelsea's half. Hasselbank. Now Keogh. Chelsea have pushed up. No one trying to spring the trap with a run from deep. Henry was on his way back. Couldn't turn and go.
Well, that's the one thing about this Chelsea back four, Mark. They are confident enough at the moment to push up. Normally teams playing against Thierry Henry will drop off, try and deny him space to run into, but Terry and company are happy to push up high up the pitch.
Parlour having worked well to get the ball, then miskicked. And Keown short, and then he's come through the back at Hasselbank. That's going to be a caution for Keown.
That's just reckless, and simply because he's made a bad pass. Played the ball in, and it was a poor ball from Martin. And then when they won it here, you can see he just hacks at the back of Hasselbank. I don't see how he thinks he can get away with that.
Well, it is the sort of position where Hasselbank might get the right kind of revenge.
Well, they must hit it. There's got to be a strike involved here.
Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank has played 8 games against Arsenal for Leeds United and Chelsea and scored in 7 of them. Strangely, he's only won one of those 8 games. That was when he got the winner very late on, at an important stage of the Premiership, right towards the end of the season, his last season at Leeds.
28 yards, we take it then, eh?
Only Lampard alongside the Dutchman, and seemingly just to pass on a bit of advice about the angle. But we shall see. It is left for Hasselbank, and rather like Henry at the other end. It's more of a practice swing than anything likely to lead to any Premiership fulfilment. But that could easily come later.
Well, we've had almost 20 minutes, Martin, and pretty much nothing happening in the game. I mean, I think there's a huge amount of respect out there, mutual respect for these teams. No one's really taking a grip of it at all.
Can't do it. Terry this time giving himself a bit of distance. Arsenal's throw. Last Boxing Day, they trounced Leicester here 6-1. Chelsea were drawing at Ipswich with a couple of goals from Gudjohnsen. Chelsea were really struggling away from home, as they did for most of the last campaign. Their away record this season has been much more impressive, and defensively, well, it's over 2 months since they last conceded a goal away from home, and that was one that shouldn't have stood. Ravanelli, we were there. he was offside.
I bet you bet. I think if Arsenal's home form had been half as good as it should be, just think how healthy the position would be, Mark, coupling it with such a fantastic away record.
Yeah, looking for a quickish free kick, but again, there wasn't too much instant movement in front of him, and when he did play it, Chelsea were there to cope.
There's good pressure from Kanu.
It just takes something like that to lift the home performance. Chelsea haven't really been overstretched here in the opening 20 minutes.
I mean, I think Chelsea would be absolutely delighted if the game's played at this kind of level.
Ljungberg. And so it's one of those muddling challenges that usually avoids conceding a yellow card. Played their way around him with Lauren and Ljungberg, and then Babayaro trips the Swede. So a little untidy, the progress for Arsenal, but it's progress nonetheless to a free kick position so that Martin Keown can go forward. Sol Campbell makes his move as well. And Graham Barber, before the free kick can be taken, has got to try and make sure that the bumping and boring is under some control. Perez takes. Not a great deal of conviction. Lampard will get the chance to express himself, I'm sure. He plays regularly for Chelsea in the centre of midfield. Both he and Stanish moves out to the gunners there. Henry. It's rather typical of the way the game has gone so far.
Hasn't flowed at all, Mark, again. Really hasn't. Been very bitty, very disjointed. Really just that one fabulous reverse pass from Mario Stanic to release Gudjohnsen in the area. That's the major highlight of the afternoon so far.
Ljungberg, it won't run on to Kanu. Petit sorted that. Confident kicker, Carlo Cudicini. Lampard. Campbell coped with the header, even though the sun was in his eyes. At his back, and Nofdiot coming from the opposite angle. So we've got the better of one. Oh, wow, flags up. Thierry Henry was the one going forward. Kanu was coming back.
I think Henry's just off, Mark. I looked very closely. I could see his body. He tried to get back on side. He had a little look at where it was dropped, you know, Thierry Henry, and he just didn't get back far enough. He's only fractionally off, but off he was.
Already with 22 goals this season, Thierry Henry has equalled his tally for last season. On from Stanic. Football to come for you today on the pay-per-view channel, Premiership Plus. Everton against Manchester United. For further information on that, 08705 160 160 is the number to call. Lasso. Perez. Tight against the touchline. Lauren. a second too long. Stanic and Hasselbank initially confusing each other. Jimmy Floyd flashed a glance over his shoulder at his teammate. Good work by Chelsea again. Just doubling up and nowhere for Arsenal to go.
Yep, they did that ever so well against Liverpool, and we were down there watching when they won that day, Mark. The pressure on the ball was excellent. But the game's been played in front of people all the time now. Neither back four really has had to turn. They haven't got in behind very often either side. And I think the back four just now are fairly comfortable. When you're playing at centre-back, full-back, and the ball is always in front of you and you can always see it, you're always facing forward. You know, balls like that, they have it. Even a ball like that over the top would have been a decent ball for me. Just to get a back four turning.
Petit trying to get a midfield player running ahead of him. That was Lampard. They could blend very well together, with Petit sitting and just playing the sort of passes that Frank Lampard can chase with gusto. Stanic able to let it run.
This is an Arsenal like at home here as well. Normally they come out the traps, really fly out the traps, don't they? In opening 20-30 minutes, they're threatening to blow teams away here. Even Newcastle, last game here, could have been 2 or 3 up within half an hour. But they've started fairly quiet today.
Well, Arsene Wenger could not have asked more from his team in his 200th Premiership match. That was at Anfield. But he might be just wondering at the moment whether the efforts, when they were down to 10 men for, what, 54 minutes, have taken a little bit of a toll. He resisted any temptation to shuffle his pack, except for the obvious re-inclusion of Vieira for Van Bronckhorst.
It's hard to know where he would freshen it up apart from that, Martin. You look at the rest from Ljungberg, Parla, Perez across that midfield, you wouldn't want any of those not to play, would he? And I think definitely Henry. As I said, the only one for me was the question mark was Kanu really here at home.
Stanic seemed to get caught in two minds, and there's a bit of space because Melchiot was committed on the outside supporting Stanic, thought he'd get played in. Henry, Terry's gone across to diffuse the danger in that right back zone, and he's done it very effectively. Typical John Terry. Campbell. Vieira. Again. Passing. Not quite as precise as Arsenal would want, as they do normally play the game, as you were suggesting, Andy, with such pace here. Chelsea have got good confidence themselves. And they've got a free kick through a rather bulldozing run by Gudjohnsen.
He does love to carry the ball, though, Ida Gudjohnsen. I think any player who does that, he's got such good feet. Lovely balanced player for me. But can go either way.
So, Hasselbank is there again, but are we going to see Manu Petit? Member of the Arsenal side that won the double in the 1970, 1997, 1998 season. Petit does take it, doesn't quite get it over the wall, out of which Kanu rather toppled. He's back on his feet.
Might have been a hit there, really. Kanu.
Melchiot. Played by Lampard and Hasselbank, and Lasso. Took too long. Can't do that with Ray Parla around. Ljungberg. Kanu wrong-footed. It just doesn't get going for Arsenal again.
We've been spoiled, I think, this season, Mark. When the big boys have played each other, we've had some fantastic football. This is probably one of the poorest between two of the top sides. Not many attempts. I guess as many are known as none. So I didn't think I'd seen a goalkeeper work there.
Ljungberg, that's threatening to be more prosperous for Arsenal. Slip from the referee, which fans of both sides always enjoy. Gudjohnsen. Strong work from Lauren. Ljungberg, back comes Lasson. So tight in this part of the pitch, everything jammed into the middle third. And Chelsea have done it so well, pushing up with the back four to squeeze the play, but out ever looking vulnerable to the one over the top. And there it is, 64% in the central third of the Highbury pitch, which is one of the smaller playing surfaces in the league, and has rather looked it today.
Yeah, and when they play narrow, as Arsenal do at times.
Hasselback. Lampard! Chelsea have struck on the half-hour mark, and Frank Lampard is now getting a taste for Premiership goals in Chelsea's colours.
Well, what a finish. They get a little bit of good fortune edge of the box. Rather bobbles around, they don't deal with a long throw. And although Hasselback's first layoff, it's not a good one, it just gets away from him, but eventually he manages to feed it in front of him, and what a finish that is. Just little touch there, the little set, that's a wonderfully swept cross shot from Frank Lampard. Goalkeeper's no chance. First shot on target, first goal of the game.
And for Lampard, a second Premiership goal for Chelsea in successive games, having had to wait till December the 23rd to open his league account for his new club.
Well, Arsene Wenger at the top, on the lovely fourth official mark. Don't think he was happy with the throw-in being awarded to Chelsea. Now let's have a look at it, clear it up. Wasn't happy at all, the Arsenal manager. But still got to deal with the throw-in, nevertheless. Didn't do that particularly well.
Well, it was like the incident at Stamford Bridge when Chelsea got a goal kick and it should have been a Liverpool corner. There was still a ball had to travel a long way before that goal kick was converted into a goal by Hasselback, which it was. But no disguising the opportunism of Lampard and the value of playing him centrally for Chelsea. Parlour. Still no room for Arsenal to express themselves. And now they're up against this club that hasn't conceded an away goal for a couple of months. And they, in turn, Chelsea, have built their platform through scoring first in a game that had hardly produced an opening to that point. Holding off Ljungberg. Strength and skill. Lasson's got a good angle for the cross. Neither Gudjohnsen nor Stanic really went far post as they might have done. Stanic able to collect. Lampard. Pires. This is where Arsenal like to express themselves on the break, but Chelsea, although one or two had got lured forward with the promise of their own attack, are back in sufficient numbers. And Stanic, who has been booked, and he's indicating that he could have got into trouble because of a diving opponent. A burning issue at the moment for referees, and certainly around the Arsenal dressing room after what happened to Van Bronckhorst at Anfield. Parlour. So the Chelsea players have stood off the Arsenal right back. It's been unusual. Pires. Ashley Cole with a great angle for the cross. Ljungberg puts the header just wide.
Just enough pressure from Graham Lasso. Slowly move, one of Arsenal's best of the match. You're not used to putting the ball in, but it's a lovely ball. He stands it up, back post, and certainly Ljungberg brave enough to attack it. Just didn't get enough in the header. Oh.
Well, Arsenal have had their sense of grievances well documented, I suppose, over the past few weeks, particularly the past couple of games. Now, what about this throw-in, Andy?
Well, this is what happened. Arsenal felt that it was theirs. Ashley Cole playing the ball off Stanic. But from there, the throw went to Chelsea, and it just gets away from Patrick Vieira, edge of the box, and lovely finish, whatever angle you see it at. That's him, JT. That's a little cameo of what he does best for me.
The last Boxing Day, he was helping West Ham to a 5-0 romp against Charlton. He is scoring for Chelsea in another London derby. Kanu. I hope that the ball had just been guided on rather straighter than that. Stanic. I'm sure the ground staff have been working hard here over the Christmas period, but I must say the run of the ball, not quite its usual impeccable self on Highbury. The grass seems a little bit longer than usual. And also at the moment having problems passing it around, but that's mostly down to Chelsea's application, attitude, organisation. All great credit to the players and Claudio Ranieri.
Well, there's a system now for me for the first time, basically, since Claudio Ranieri came in charge, Martin. He was always, for me, tinkering with formations, with setup, with teams. He seems to have got a team now pretty much settled. A 4-4-2 system. The players seem to like and enjoy playing in. And I think Chelsea are benefiting from that.
Yes, and one or two square pegs in square holes, like Frank Lampard now. And was so happy to play ahead of Babier on the left side. The roles reversed here, with Johnson very much the first choice to partner Hasselbank. And you can see the understanding. Also having problems coping with it.
A little unlucky there. If they could have kept that going the other way, then Stanic was good space, right-hand side.
Terry's gone in and got the ball, but unfairly this time. Graham Barber accepting the advice of his assistant down beneath us. Foul on Henry. Fatigue. Chelsea on the ball again after a rather unambitious Arsenal free kick, it must be said. And the ball was just rolled square, whether they were trying to change the angle, draw Chelsea out, it didn't work. That is a Chelsea try.
Yeah, they're a little flat to me, Arsenal, today. They haven't really clicked into gear at all, anywhere on the pitch.
Long throw from Melchiot, defended by Vieira. Stanic. Good Johnson has got it to Melchiot's feet. Stanic. And Melchiot again. Hasselbank lets it run, the so. Struck Lauren.
Didn't look convincing on his right though, so I have to say, Martin. Lovely little step over from Jimmy here. Lets it run. Just trying to feed it with the right foot.
It's Graham Lasso concentrating first and foremost on hitting the target rather than really letting rip, but they've got a corner, Chelsea. They're leading by a goal to nil at Highbury. Petit swings it in. Halfway out by Kanu. Good defending by Henry. It's a fine attempt at a reverse pass by Lampard. Oh, Ljungberg
tight, Martin. I have to say,
offside.
That must have been tight. You can't believe it. The flag went up really quickly. And it must have been close. Oh, that's tight, isn't it? I think he's probably on, and the ball's played. But close.
Penalised, he'll miss Arsenal's next game here against Middlesbrough. The suspension for totting up yellow cards. This is where Stanic is good in the air, coming in from the ball delivered from the opposite flank. Lasso!
Just enough. Martin Keown, I think, just did enough there. That looked very inviting as it was dropped in the edge of the box there. But that's a mismatch, back post mark, Stanic against Cole, and the ball's played in the air.
That's off the line by Cole.
That was going in, wasn't it? Simple as that.
It was a corner from Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. And Stuart Taylor was deceived by it. And Chelsea certainly calling the tune at the moment. Melchiot's throw. I feel Arsene Wenger needs to get his players in at half-time and really try and rev them up a little bit.
I just wonder if he'll change it. He's not slow in changing things, Arsene Wenger, Martin, his team are down. We saw that against Aston Villa. Will Todd was on straight at half-time, chasing the game.
And Will Todd's on the bench again today. And it was he, of course, who changed the cup tie here in the 5th round last season. Arsenal knocked the trophy from Chelsea's grasp. 2 second-half goals from Silva and Will Todd on a 3-1 win. Babayaro. Cole, who made that great clearance off the line on Sunday.
There we go. Might just a bit in, you know. Might just a bit in.
Lauren with the free kick. Arsenal looking for an equaliser before half-time. That will be mopped up by Cudicini. First half in keeping with some of the troubles that Arsenal have had at home this season in the Premiership, but certainly not in keeping with the tempo that they usually produce in front of their own fans, whether they're successful or not. They've been stuck in a lower gear, and the better stuff continues to come from Chelsea. Stanic in behind Cole for Hasselbank. Not with enough pace to stop Cole from recovering. It was rather easy for him to get back and do his defensive work. And then another moment that rather is a cameo of Arsenal in the first period.
No, it hasn't happened, is it? I think Arsene Wenger's going to have to shake 1 or 2 up.
Good call from Lasso. Hear it from up here to Gudjohnsen to try and get him to steer the header down to Lasso's run. It didn't quite come off. Caught that nearer the heel, John Terry, rather than the side of the foot. Keogh, Parlour.
Good pressure again.
Might be one area they'll look at. Ray Parlour, has he been feeling this dead leg in the first half? He's not been as conspicuous as he normally is in trying to get Arsenal into a positive frame of mind.
Well, his deliveries have been poor so far, Robert Perez. Really needs to provide better service.
Certainly got more height on that one. Vieira deciding to let it run for the throw. Stoppage time before half-time at Highbury. There'll be 2 minutes of that. Cole to time the pass in harmony with the run from Pires.
Far side, everyone goes up. All disagreeing with it. Again, it's one of those tough ones. Making a deep run. Tight call.
It is one area that they could be vulnerable to, Chelsea, simply because the pace Arsenal do have and the sophistication normally in their play to get a runner in behind, with Chelsea defending so far up the pitch. Vieira and Melchiot have gone across the halfway line already. Cole. Henry. Back by Terry. It's coming awkwardly to Cudicini, but again gets good contact. Goalkeeper has only conceded 2 goals in 11 appearances for Chelsea this season.
Not bad, eh? Not bad.
Ljungberg chasing. Terry at his back. And the young Chelsea defender comes up trumps again. Hasselback. Yeah, it was when the ball was played. And the last thing Arsenal supporters want to see is Henry hobbling away from a bit of contact. They'll need him in full working order in the second half.
Well, he's got problems. He's got plenty to ponder, Arsene Wenger, Martin, as we approach half-time. Fabulous performance at Anfield, long gone now.
That's the away team today who are impressing. And Paul Durkin, the referee, was equally adamant that in his view the Dutchman had dived. So Van Bronckhorst only played 34 minutes of that game at Anfield. He's got 45 minutes to try and influence proceedings here. Ray Parlour, who was hurt late on in that game at Liverpool and was a big doubt. I can understand Arsenal wanting to take the risk, but it hasn't quite worked out. Maybe if the general team performance had been a little bit more encouraging, it would have been easier for Ray to make an impact. But he's off. Arsenal attack the old North Bank end, where they seemingly seem to be more successful, and I will hope that is certainly the case. Resuming the battle against Chelsea, 1-0 down.
Well, that's a fascinating second half set up, Mark, that's a certainty. The best defence in the Premiership against, well, arguably, when it's flowing. It's one of the better and more incisive attacking sides. Hasn't happened for them today.
Hopeful ball from Keown, and Melchiot caught in possession by Kanu. And you can expect Arsenal's tempo, I'm sure, to be quicker. They've fallen into the offside trap there straight away. For those of you watching on Sky Digital, channel 404, with the interactive buttons, Patrick Vieira, the subject to the player cam, would like to be a greater influence on the next 15 minutes than he was on the first 45. But he wasn't alone in being subdued for the Gunners.
No, I don't think it had anyone influence the game at all.
Keown. Ljungberg comes off Gallas, but the Arsenal attackers were coming back to avoid being offside.
Interesting to see how long he leaves at Arsene Wenger if his team don't get a goal, Mark. Has Bergkamp, has Wiltord, his attacking options still on the bench.
Campbell. Lasso gets there. Chelsea trying to get back into the groove of their first half performance. Petit. When he played that, it seemed blind. It was a very precise the pass to Babayaro. March 1990, the last time Chelsea won here in the league. John Bumstead, the scorer in a 1-0 victory. Ljungberg. Vieira gets the better of Petit. Kanu. Time for a trick or two. No, for a little pass towards Vieira, but Petit got back. Pires. Maury had to hold off Melchiot and then lifted on towards Van Bronckhorst. Petit there again. Cole reclaims it for Arsenal.
That's a free kick for me against Stanic, but he got away with it. Just went on, we had a lovely view of that from where we were sat.
Vieira. As he came across Ljungberg's line, did Stanic, but he got away with it. Pires with the cross.
Oh, what a ball, son.
Henry! Goalkeeper's arms were up. The decision is a corner.
This is a fabulous, fabulous cross, but no one really going in with any conviction. Horrible to deal with. Gallus did all right. The goalkeeper just manages to keep the header out.
It sounds a bit more like Highbury now. So very quiet opening 45 minutes. Pedicini, but he's beaten to it.
Oh, big man, Campbell, is it?
Sol Campbell opens his Arsenal account with an absolutely towering header.
What a leap. Now that's how to head the ball. Take note, front men, I think he's saying. It's in there, look at the height he climbs. John Terry comes in with him, but doesn't get off the ground. Campbell's all over him here. Gets up early. And from then on, he wasn't going to miss that. He just felt like he hit the target. It was a goal. And just like against Villa, they strike back early in the second half.
Taken in 20 games, Sol Campbell, to find his first Arsenal goal, but with one of those odd coincidences that football is full of, he basically has done it against the same club he scored his first Tottenham goal for.
Jimmy, something upset. We didn't see him, man. I just looked round there when Jimmy Floyd was lying on the ground there, and he didn't take too kindly to Patrick Vieira, so I don't know if there was a coming together, whether there was a clash or what happened, but certainly Jimmy wasn't happy.
And certainly he was on the ground. Just a little movement with the elbow by Vieira. And the last thing Arsenal need to do, having got the equaliser, is to get themselves into trouble again. But Vieira, this is what he's got the right sort of reputation for. First really driving run from midfield, and now it is starting to boil over.
Don't react, son. You don't react.
Graham Barber has got a lot of sorting out to do here.
Well, Graham Lasso's the guy who came in late. He's saying you can see him indicating he felt he got the ball. No one else did. Yeah, Henry's done the right thing. He's got Vieira way from this scene.
but it was hard to think that Patrick Vieira was being cool, calm and collected there after the replay we showed on the incident with Hasselbank a few seconds earlier. Then he got on the ball and was really challenging Chelsea in the proper manner.
There were so many legs going in that so many people on the floor. Martin, it was hard to see what was going on, but this is what happened. And Graham Le Saux, the ball drops there and he goes straight through Patrick Vieira. No real thought in playing the ball there.
Well, Graham Barber's now talking to his assistant Andy Martin about, I'm sure, what happened after that.
Well, they're looking for someone. Oh, it's Kanu.
Kanu is absolutely mystified as to why he's getting a yellow card. Could that be mistaken identity?
It might be. I can only think he's reacting to what the linesman's told him, Mark. I know Graham Le Saux came flying out the melee when it all went off here, and Vieira gets up and he wasn't best pleased here. But there's Kanu coming over as well. And
yeah, he was involved.
I mean, he's involved enough to get a booking any more than anyone else.
Well, it certainly looked as though Vieira was the one who was trying to take the law into his own hands rather than the Nigerian, but it's Kanu who's booked.
Well, a couple of minutes has probably helped Patrick Vieira, giving him a chance to settle.
1-1 at Highbury. Arsenal so disappointing in the first half, with a storming start to the second half. And a game that's taking on a stormier aspect. Henry, and it bounced awkwardly for Cudicini.
Well, that was the only thing that made it difficult. I mean, it's pretty tame, you know what he's trying to do. It's bouncing, but the bounce is awkward. Look how high it sits up. The two hands watched it, pushed it well wide.
That's a great defensive header by Terry. And foul by Ljungberg as Chelsea pushed on out. I think game on now.
Right.
After the most uncharacteristic first half of a London derby. It's got much more of the authentic feel about it now. Mistake by Petit.
Well, the atmosphere around the whole place is different, Mark. It's up a notch or two.
Fend away from its intended target, the pass. Perez looking for Ljungberg. Caballero able to deal with it for Chelsea, but they've lost possession in their own half. Lauren. Arsene Wenger, I'm told, has been stressing to his players the need for self-control. We saw that for the most part at Anfield. That was after the Newcastle game. Reaffirming his faith in the group, but wanting them not to give more ammunition to their critics. Certainly the red card at Liverpool had no origins in loss of temper, loss of balance, and Bronkhorst would say. Here's the score of Arsenal's equaliser. Campbell, it's a very well-crafted pass to Pires. Kanu near post, Melchiot stops the ball getting too far, but Arsenal have another corner.
What a ball from Sol Campbell. That was outside of the right foot, dinked it down the line.
He's starting to feel he belongs in an Arsenal shirt.
Well, I talked about the height they've got there, and you know, it is a threat, Martin, if you put the ball in there.
It's over him this time. And Cudicini ends up on the deck. There was a booking after the goal for Cudicini. Chelsea frustrated at conceding an away goal after keeping out opponents for over 8 hours away from home.
Yeah, pretty impressive. It's going to be a test for Claudio Ranieri's side, Mark, now. Conceding the goal early on. Any thoughts of sitting back and dropping back even and protecting the lead they had? Those thoughts have gone now. Players now know they've got a bit to do.
Can I just ask you what your prediction was in your battle with Alan Shearer for this fixture?
2-1 to the Gunners, I went.
So you're sitting reasonably confidently at the moment?
Oh, not really. Chelsea are playing well.
Arsenal have improved. Here's Ljungberg. Here's Babayara. Chelsea trying to get back to what they were doing so well in the first half. Lasso. Lasso having been booked and going to ground. Here's Ljungberg.
Oh, not enough on the pass. That's more like Arsenal, isn't it? They'll mark that break from back to front.
Peter Ljungberg, who scored 5 goals in his last 5 appearances, and as well as scoring at Anfield, of course, was the player brought down for the penalty that really set up that prodigious Arsenal performance. Giot defending.
They should be in there. I think when that ball drops like that, you've got to have players bringing the edge of the box, keeping the pressure on.
Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank turned unfairly by Kanu, says Graham Barber. There's a little bit of cuteness there by Hasselbank to get that decision. And he needed it because Kanu would have been way down the Arsenal left. Chelsea have won at Southampton, at Spurs and at Manchester United, of course, this season. But they're finding it hard to get the ball, and they've lost their lead at Highbury. Their only away defeat, incidentally, was in London at West Ham. Keogh. Cole. With Johnson. Murray having a look at what he feared happened on the far side. A raised flag.
It'll be encouraging for Henry, Mark, the fact that they do push up, they do hold the line, Chelsea. I think the Frenchman will certainly have noticed that. He'll be saying, well, there is space for me to run in if I can get the ball.
Petit did get back, having been responsible for giving the ball away. I was beginning to wonder just how long Claudio Ranieri would keep Manu Petit on. He did return to the team as a latish substitute against Bolton on Sunday. Missing for several weeks with an ankle problem. Manu Petit coming across to take the free kick. A foul by Cole on Stanic. Barber trying to make sure everything's settled in there before a free kick is taken. Threatening ball from Petit, only really needed a touch. And initial trajectory, Arsenal looking to break out with Van Bronckhorst. Henry. Now Gallas is quick, we might just see how quick here. Certainly Henry keeps him backpedaling, but gets beyond him. It was Ljungberg at the near post as he was at Anfield.
He doesn't need any encouragement for the Ljungberg, does he, to get in there?
Petit trying to calm it down for Chelsea. Gudjohnsen to Hasselbank. Lasseau to Babayara. 6 forward for Chelsea here. Gudjohnsen!
Half a chance. Coming from deep, Sol Campbell marking Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. He just comes across the face of Sol Campbell. Not an easy header.
Melchior. Well, since the goal, Chelsea have stopped Arsenal really roaring into overdrive. Stanic kept it in. Hasselbank tries to get away from Campbell. As well, Sol Campbell got in the way then. Gudjohnsen had gone to the near post. Hasselbank had a look to try and pick him out. Petit to take the corner. Stanic. The player cam now switches to Graham Lasseau for Sky Digital viewers on channel 404.
Just had a look at the Arsenal bench. Martin McCollum, I think it's Sylvain Wiltord back. Pat Rice was up, just indicating to come back, so it could be change. It's imminent.
Well, it was he who turned a 1-1 scoreline in that FA Cup tie in February into a 3-1 Arsenal win. Kanu, good reach by Gallas, but it's gone straight back to the Nigerian. Cole, Perez outside it.
Too much.
Thierry Henry turned into Graham Lasseau, ended up on the ground in the penalty area, made sure he got up, shook hands, and there'd be no confusion that it was just coming together. Those are the sort of things that we have to look for these days, Andy.
Pretty so much.
Stanic. Gets in front of Gallas, who's sticking so tight to the Arsenal front men. Again, impressive. This time Kanu was turning away from Melchior. I think he was clipped by Stanic, who's walking a bit of a tightrope, having been booked early in the game and the risk of getting into trouble for persistent infringements. Campbell, Ljungberg, Kanu, it's Martin Keough.
It's typical of Kanu at the moment in the area, Martin. Nothing's just sitting right for him.
And Bronckhorst gets it back. Chelsea have pushed out, characteristically. They need to push out very far, in truth. Over Lauren. Collected by Gudjohnsen. Vieira. Lucky ricochet for Pires. Rare tussle between Ljungberg and Babayaro. 20 minutes played in the second half. More profitable for Arsenal, who trailed 1-0 at half-time. And it is a stage that Arsene Wenger believes is set for Sylvain Wiltord.
I wondered who he'd take off, Mark. I don't think it was cut and dried any one particular person. Perez is for me as well, hasn't really in one of his more influential games. He's looked a little jaded to me.
Ljungberg, of course, did miss a couple of games with a back problem. We'll try and find out for you whether it's just a straight tactical switch or whether there's an injury involved. Wiltor, Henry, it was a well-conceived header to try and guide it back to Pires, but not quite as well executed. Henry was just complaining that he might have been impeded. Hasselback making very good ground for Chelsea.
Good run.
With a touch. A little further than Arsenal would have wanted. Hit by Vieira. Cole. Now Petit. Lampard, the Chelsea scorer today. Coming after half an hour. And now moving into the last quarter of the game. So backing up Babayaro and playing for the obstruction and getting it. Chelsea have drawn 9 of their 18 matches in the Premiership.
It proves how tough a side they are to beat. If they could turn just a percentage of those into victories, Martin, what a difference it would have made to the season. A lot of those draws as well have found games where they've actually had a leader, like today, but not been able to hold on to it.
Wiltor. Kanu. Chelsea warming up Sam Dalabona as Dennis Bergkamp gets ready for Arsenal. Wiltor. Slipped as he went to play in the cross. And the throw off the soap. He's conceded the free kick. And Bronkhorst to take it. Chelsea have been caught out once in the air by Sol Campbell's powerful headed equaliser. Campbell trying to get free again. Wiltor! Lightning strikes again. Sylvain Wiltor against Chelsea here at Highbury, comes from the bench and tilts a match Arsenal's way, this time in the Premiership as he did in the FA Cup only last February.
Well, let's see what I mean about ringing the box, Mark. There's the classic example here. For the first time in the match, Arsenal get players on the edge of the box. Hasn't happened at all. And what he needed was a controlled shot. He's got nothing to aim at. He doesn't hit it brilliantly. He hits it into the ground and it bounces and bobbles its way past Cudicini, who probably doesn't see it till very late.
And he hits Arsenal into the lead for the first time today.
I'll tell you what Van Bronckhorst has done as well, second half, Mark. He's put in some lovely balls in there, right between the goalposts. Really horrible to deal with. He put quality in. I thought Perez, I mentioned it first half. Robert Perez's quality wasn't great from set plays, but Van Bronckhorst has taken it up a peg or two.
Stanic. Took Sylvain Wiltor less than 4 minutes to influence proceedings, having stepped into the fray from the bench. Well, that must have come off an Arsenal boot, because Hasselbank is
Jimmy
allowed to go on.
I bet you're right-sided to pull the trigger. You see how keen he was, and he has to rifling one in with his left foot.
Babayaro. Petit has forced it across.
Patrick Vieira actually managed to play a huge sloppy pass back towards his own goal.
Massive concentration, very nearly the loss of the lead that they've had to work so hard to acquire.
I mean, the boys have got their hands up looking for offside, but I just thought he must hit it. He just felt sure. What is this, 8-9 yards out? Left side, like Bolton, smashes it in top corner with his left foot.
A substitution apiece. Stanic gives way to Dallabonna for Chelsea. And it's Kanu who says farewell to Celestine Babayaro. His fellow countryman happened to be standing alongside him when his number went up. See you in the African Nations Cup, maybe, was the parting words, because that's on their agenda. Along comes Dennis Bergkamp, who's been affected in recent games by a toe problem, but fit enough to participate here. Gallas. 3 goals in a game of very few chances, all coming pretty soon after restarts. The throw that Arsenal were unhappy about, that Chelsea converted into a chance for Lampard, and the corner that Campbell headed in, and a free kick from Van Bronckhorst that was only partially cleared to Wiltord. What at the moment is the decisive goal. Quick free kick by Vieira, a bit too quick for some of his Arsenal teammates. Keown.
I have to say it's set up the last 15 minutes really nicely for this match. Chelsea got to go forward, got to take a chance now.
Cole switching the play very adroitly. Wiltord. Lauren. Henry. Terry's header that dropped for Bergkamp.
It's not like Dennis Bergkamp. He looked a bit hurried there.
Scored a dozen Premiership goals at his time in the English game, and 11 of them have been on this ground. Well, as it stands, Arsenal will go top of the table maybe for a couple of hours or so. Newcastle at home to Middlesbrough with a 3 o'clock kick-off. And of course, as it stands, Andy Gray will be doing very well against Alan Shearer in the prediction stakes. Still the best part of 15 minutes to go.
Just a little early, took a little ride in. Hasselbank's back, Sol Campbell. Certainly within range of Jimmy, the power he's got. Look at many blue shirts are staying out of the box, so Mark. It's amazing, isn't it? 1 or 2 start to edge up, look for a goal.
Yeah, they're clearly expecting a shot from the Premiership's second highest scorer. Arsenal have brought everyone back. The charger is Van Bronckhorst, but Hasselbank gets past him. A second player to come out to put him off his stride, and it was Patrick Vieira.
Got landed on. He's a solid lad to land on top of you, Jimmy. He just tries to shift this. Vieira gets to him.
Keown. Henry chasing. Terry having problems initially with the bounce, but he's solved those problems with the quick footwork, quick movement, but most of all quick thought. Lasso. Taking on two. There was the filling in the sandwich.
To just chink inside here. I'm not so sure there's an awful lot wrong there, Martin, I have to say. I think Lauren's a bit hard done by 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Hasselbank over the ball again. Northcote came across and had a word with him, and that's now gone back into the centre where Chelsea are much better represented than they were at the free kick from a more central position. Hasselbank just trying to shift the ball centimetre or two. Well, it was certainly threatening, and it's led to Chelsea staying on the front foot. They've got a corner.
Yeah, I've got to torture someone. He certainly fizzed it in near post. Terry, I think, up there.
This is the ground where he scored his only Premiership goal in this fixture last season, which finished 1-1. The last three between Arsenal and Chelsea have ended as draws.
And he certainly gets up to it. Just couldn't direct it, and only 6-7 yards out.
Lampard. Perez working back and getting his rewards. Bergkamp, he's got past Gallas, whose appeal at the ball had gone out was in vain. Bergkamp's cross, and steered away by Terry.
Yeah, John Terry's a lovely position here, Mark. He really covered that near post area.
Bergkamp being watched by the player cam, Sky Digital viewers, on channel 404. Cole. Cam. Over-ambitious maybe. Petit. For Gudjohnsen. He's certainly been amongst the goals recently, and Chelsea need one from somewhere.
Yeah, he's been quiet, Ida Gudjohnsen today. But this is what he's capable of. You can't stand off this boy edge of the box. Doesn't really do himself justice there.
Double change now for Claudio Ranieri. He's not averse to making those alterations in times of need, and certainly that describes Chelsea's situation at the moment. Zola and Forsell, two attackers.
You can't think they're going to take Hasselbank off, Martin. That's a certainty.
Bergkamp waited for the moment. Henry, Perez coming in from the opposite flank. Wiltor's there as well. Not easy for Perez. For Van Bronckhorst. Went for power. Fettuccini was equal to it. Van Bronckhorst again. In comes Henry.
Good lead, lovely ball. Didn't have many targets, Van Bronckhorst. is all or nothing with Chelsea. They do have to take a chance and take a gamble. That's what Claudio Ranieri's about to do.
Petit, Dalabona, Lasso, Hasselbank to the right. He's only got Gudjohnsen to aim for. Wasn't far away from finding him.
Not with the worst ball, was it? Just lacked support in there. Changes will be made now.
All right, Sola for Lasso. He hasn't spotted that it's his time to go off. Never been fully appreciated on this ground or many other away grounds, really, as a provocative type of player. Sola is on, and it's Gudjohnsen, Andy, as you said. Not seen the best of him today. He was replaced by the international from Finland, Mikael Forsell. Lampard. Forsell. Arsenal a bit slow to react here. Forsell with help from Melchior. 7 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Now Chelsea would love to get Zola on the ball regularly. Now that he's on. Henry. Petit. Keown saw that coming.
They played well with their backs against the wall. Keown and Campbell, Martin at Anfield. They're just going to need some of that in the last 7 or 8 minutes. Unless Arsenal can nick another one to give them some comfort.
What Arsenal haven't had today, of course, should they win the game, is a goal from Henry, who's scored in all their other victories in the Premiership this season and all their Champions League wins. Hasselbank. Henry holds on. Campbell and Wiltor, the Arsenal scorers in the second half. They started 1-0 down to Frank Lampard. Vieira. Trying to get away from Petit. Henry, across comes Gallas.
Yeah, they'll take that, Arsenal. They don't mind the ball being 90 yards from their own goal.
Remember, Chelsea have been beaten in the league only twice this season. At West Ham and at home by Charlton. Of course, also one here at Highbury. Keown. And Broncos, Henry. Pires. Hasn't been that sort of day for the most part for Arsenal, but one or two of the finer skills are coming out now. Wiltor. Track Pires has run well with Chelsea. Lorry. Keeping the ball, the most important thing for the home side at the moment, and they were doing that rather better until Lorraine lost it. Inside the last 5 minutes. And Stuart Taylor hits it against Forsell. Now here is Zola. Vieira sticks out a long leg. Petit's pass, and Lampard leaning into it. Nice the handball echoing around Arsenal Stadium. More live football for you on our Premiership Plus channel. Everton against Manchester United at 2:30 today. 08705 160 160 for further information. 08705 160 160, the number to call. Hasselbank. Dalabona. A little bit of reaction at the misplaced pass by Hasselbank. It's what they're
Smelling Jimmy, is it?
reacting to. Rare experience, it seems, for him, of failing to score in a game against Arsenal. It happened to him once before in 8 attempts. But he's still got time. He's got some extra attacking allies now with Forssell and Zola on. Here's Zola. I missed the earlier news. Badewijn Zenden, Chelsea fans, injured hamstring, not available for selection today. Whether he would have played against Ashley Cole, who knows, but Cole had a harrowing time against him for England against Holland back in August at White Hart Lane.
I think he might have, Martin. I think Claudio Ranieri would be very aware of that game.
Pires couldn't quite take it up. Others trying to do the same, like Van Bronckhorst. Dalla Bona. Vieira was late and leggy. And when he does get his timing wrong in the tackles, you do tend to notice Patrick Vieira. Nice calculation in the air by Cole and by Campbell with a very tentative clearance. Here comes Van Bronckhorst.
He's done all right, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, Martin. I think he's had a pretty good second half.
Brought on for Ray Parlour at half-time. Back by Dalla Bona, Forssell. And that was a much more authoritative play from Campbell. So 2 minutes plus added time at Highbury. Forssell. Vieira can't prevent the corner.
Oh, it's good pressure from Chelsea, asking a question or two.
Into the mix from Petit. And there's several players on the ground. Graham Barber gives the defenders the benefit of any doubt, and it is a free kick to Arsenal.
I know they do that sometimes, West, don't they? I think there's a big male league on there. They'll just blow for a free kick and get on with it.
Zola. He owned there before Hasselback. Dalla Bona. Thomas Bergkamp defending the right-hand side for Arsenal. Trying to get Henry away to settle it. Here is Thierry Henry. Gallas has the mastery.
Well watched, really well watched. Kept his eye on the ball, Gallas.
Leeds United very much in contention in the Premiership. Robbie Fowler with a hat-trick today, and he's also missed a penalty. Hasselback, he comes back to Dalla Bona. Campbell can't clear it. Arsenal are putting it. Dalla Bona charged it down with an arm. Pires, 3 extra minutes. Bergkamp. Wiltor sliding it with great deliberation to Henry. And he heads to the corner, and Arsenal get a throw. That'll do.
Well, it's been a big 2 days, isn't it, for Arsenal, Mark? When you look at that away at Anfield, really poor record then, a local derby on the back of it. You can see this one out. Would be 2 fantastic results for them.
Petit. Wiltor smuggling the ball down the touchline. Oh, and then being very crudely taken out by Babayaro. It took Wiltor the best part of 6 minutes to change the course of that FA Cup tie in February. 3 minutes 47 seconds today. He's back on his feet. Been hard work at Highbury for Arsenal, but they're closing in on their aim today. The resilience that was conspicuous at Anfield needed in a different way today. They had to wear down Chelsea. Pires. Not much immediate help. But again, that's all that's required at this stage. Use up a few more seconds. We're in the last minute of time added on, although Graham Barbering hurrying Arsenal to get across and take this throw will take that little delay into account. Henry again running down the clock. Top of the agenda.
We saw a great sign from Arsenal, Martin, great character up at Anfield. I think what we're seeing today is that an important aspect in any team that wants to win the championship is to get a result when you're not playing at your best, and I don't think they've been anywhere near their best.
And particularly against another side in the top six.
And they've managed somehow to get their noses in front. Look like they might just see it out.
The whistle is for an offside. No, the final whistle.
It's over.
All the dying embers of the game for Chelsea and Cudicini.
Right, stump it forward because the whistle must be going any second.
That's what he does. But there's not even time for the ball to land. Arsenal are top of the Premiership again, maybe for just a couple of hours or so, with Newcastle not yet in action today. Only Chelsea's third Premiership defeat. Sol Campbell really responsible for helping Arsenal turn the corner after a very sticky first half when they were second best. Campbell's first Arsenal goal with a thumping header. And Sylvain Wiltor coming on as a substitute to win it, maybe looking for a shirt swap with Petit, who wasn't going to play the game, having been a loser on his return to Highbury in Chelsea blue. Chelsea's first half performance, which was classy and coordinated, rewarded by a goal from Lampard, but now but a distant memory for them, because Arsenal head for the dressing rooms in high spirits. They've had to work very hard for it. They have played better, but they've beaten Chelsea by 2 goals to 1.
And that the first of